What's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko podcast. I am DK Wrestler.
And I'm MD Shady.
And in today's podcast, as shown in the title, we are going to be doing the top 10 Funko Pops of June 2023. And in case anyone was wondering, in case the reveals actually happen, which I don't think they are going to be happening, San Diego Comic-Con exclusives will not be featured on this podcast since the days that we have with the announcements do not feature San Diego Comic-Con, and Funko's kind of slacking there. But nonetheless, if it does get announced, we will be doing a separate podcast on the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. And if they do happen this week in June, then we'll just do an update at the end of that podcast. But nonetheless, we're going to be going through the entire of June 2023 of what we have so far, which is from June 1st to June 26th, which is yesterday as we're recording this podcast. But nonetheless, let's kick off with the first set of June Pops, which range from June 1st to June 9th. So starting on June 1st, Drop had confirmed the redeemable Pops for the Adventure Time Funko NFT set, which has a Grail 999 piece pop of Finn the Human, along with legendaries limited to 1,600 pieces of Peppermint Butler, Golb, Lady Rainicorn, and Randy Butternubs, and then the royalty being Freddy Funko in Jake's suit, limited to 2,300 pieces. And then Funko announced on that day of a pop and bag bundle of Dennis Rodman with red hair for the NBA lineup. Then on June 2nd, Funko had confirmed on their website 2 Walmart exclusive pops, the first being a Loki pop comic covers, and then the other being a Diamond Collection 4-pack of Ariel, Prince Eric, Scuttle, and Ursula from The Little Mermaid. Then on June 7th, Hot Topic had announced their own exclusive pop of a glow-in-the-dark Constance Hatchaway from the Haunted Mansion, and then Funko had announced a couple of Amazon exclusives, first being the next pop in the train set for the Disney 100 set, which is of Woody from Toy Story on Luxo Ball, and then the next pop in the Civil War Deluxe set, which is of Spiderman. And then Entertainment Earth had announced their own exclusive pop of a Blacklight Carrie. And then for June 9th, First Box Lunch had announced their own exclusive glow-in-the-dark deluxe pop of Nezuko in Web from Demon Slayer. And then Funko had announced a Funko Shop exclusive of Lex Luthor for the Warner Brothers 100th set. And then Entertainment Earth had announced their own exclusive pop of a 6-inch Brachiosaurus from the Jurassic Park 30th anniversary set. So kicking off with the Adventure Time Funko NFTs. I mean, we basically kind of already discussed about this last week on our all NFT pod, which you guys definitely should check that out. These are a pretty decent set of pops, and especially the Randy Butternubs definitely has to be my favorite of the set. Then we got the Dennis Rodman with red hair, which is a pretty decent pop. It makes sense considering that Dennis Rodman has had a bunch of different hair colors throughout the past, whether it's like cheetah print or it's the red color hair as shown here. My only gripe, of course, is the fact that you have to get this in a pop and bag bundle and not by itself. And then we have the Walmart exclusive pops, first being the comic covers of Loki. And this is all right. I do like the idea of obviously Loki getting his own comic cover. The Diamond Collection 4-pack for The Little Mermaid. This is all right. I mean, once again, it's like one of these 4-packs where most likely one of the pops is going to have that specification and not all of them. They should all be Diamond Collection, not just one, and that's why I'm not a fan of these multi-packs. Then we got the Constance Hatchaway glow-in-the-dark pop, which I know a lot of people were excited about this pop when it was announced, and it's not too bad. It looks very promising for the glow-in-the-dark aspect, even though it is blue. Then we got the Woody on Luxo Ball pop train, and we talked about a few weeks ago, I believe, on the podcast when the Darth Vader one was announced, like the possible idea of like Pixar and Marvel being a part of this, and if it was Pixar, it was probably going to be something Toy Story related. I thought it was going to be Buzz Lightyear. I think MD was the one that mentioned that it was going to be Woody. I obviously like the idea of Woody being it, but I'm not entirely a fan of the Luxo ball being like the cart, just because to me it just looks like an empty cart with the ball in it instead of like an actual like cart that he's sitting in. It would have been awesome if maybe the cart was like the takeout container for the Pizza Planet, where obviously they disguised it in the first movie. I think that would have been a little bit better. Or what they could have done is just do it as Buzz Lightyear and you just have the big one, aka Sid's rocket that he uses as the actual cart instead of just the Luxo ball. But nonetheless, seeing the Luxo ball kind of in Funko Pop form is still cool. And then we have the Spider-Man as a part of the Civil War set, and this is not too bad. It's to be expected. Now we have, I believe, 3 pops left in this set because this is number 9. Captain America, Iron Man, and I, for some reason, can't remember the other one. But yeah, I mean, once these are all together, it's probably going to look pretty decent to commemorate that scene from Civil War. And then we have the Blacklight Carry, which is pretty cool to see because I believe I predicted this on our Funkoween predictions video. Now we have it as a separate release, and it still looks cool, and it's exactly how I imagined it, where it was bloody Carry, and then you have like that magenta color as the blood color. Then we have the Nezuko in Webs Pop Deluxe, and this is pretty cool, and I do like the idea of it being glow in the dark for the sake of the webs and kind of the, like, I don't know if that's supposed to be smoke or whatever. I can't exactly remember, and I don't know if this is part of a new season to Demon Slayer since I've only seen season 1, but nonetheless, this is a pretty cool Nezuko pop compared to what we've gotten as of late. Then we're going on to Lex Luthor, and this is pretty sweet. I mean, he is a pretty big part of Warner Brothers, considering that it is a DC Comics property, so it's cool to have this as a part of this set instead of just the regular DC Comics set. And then we have ourselves the Brachiosaurus 6-inch pop for Jurassic Park's 30th anniversary set, and this is a pretty cool pop. It's a brand new dinosaur that we've never had in neither, I believe, both Jurassic Park and the Jurassic World sets, so this is pretty decent, and I mean, I'm sure a lot of Jurassic Park fans are excited about this.
All right, starting off with the Adventure Time NFT set. This was a fairly decent set. I mean, there's a good array of characters here. Finn the Human, not the greatest, I don't think, but it is cool that we are seeing characters like Peppermint Butler as well as Golb and Lady Rainicorn, and then my personal favorite from the set with Randy Butternubs. That is a wicked pop. I think that is probably going to be the fan favorite for everyone. And then the Freddy Funko is half decent. I don't mind it, but I guess it could have been better. Then we have the Dennis Rodman with the red hair. This is okay. I mean, it's another Dennis Rodman. It's cool that they can do the variations because of the hair, not have to change things up too much, but it's not the greatest. But I do really enjoy the bag that it comes with. It feels like, generally with the bags, they're fairly feminine, so this one feels a little bit more like I would be able to rock this out and about. So I definitely like the bag, and the pop itself isn't bad. Then we have the Loki comic cover, and this is okay. I think that there's definitely better Loki comics that they could have gone with, but this one is pretty cool. And I like how you actually kind of have like a base for what he's standing on in the comic cover itself. And then we have the 4-pack for the Little Mermaid. And yeah, you guys know how we feel about 4-packs that are like this, where it's existing pops and just throwing them together. And then, of course, they put the specification change with the Diamond Collection for the 1 pop. Super unnecessary. And then we have the Constance Hatchaway from Haunted Mansion, and this is pretty decent. Obviously, the Haunted Mansion pops are pretty sweet, and altogether, I think these would look really good out of box. And then we have the next piece for the Disney train set. And of course, it is Woody, so I did guess it right. And I have to agree with DK on this, that the train or the cart itself is not the greatest. It's not even a vehicle like you see with the other 3 pops from this set. So I definitely think they could have thought it through more and had it been better, but it is still pretty iconic with Luxo. So I don't know. It's not too bad, but it is Woody, so that's awesome. And then we have the next piece for the Civil War set with Spider-Man, and this feels like a super generic Spider-Man pop in a pose that we've seen many times before, so it's definitely not anything too crazy, but it is what we kind of expect for the Civil War set. Next, we have the Blacklight Carry, and this is awesome. This looks really cool. I like the pink for the blood. I think this turned out very, very well. I can't wait to see this pop in person. And then we have the Nezuko in Webs. This is a wicked looking pop. I mean, this can definitely be a candidate for the top 50 best pops of the year just because of the detail and how different it is upside down. This is just really, really cool, though I don't really know anything about Demon Slayer. And then we have Lex Luthor, and this is pretty cool. It makes sense for the Warner Bros. 100 to have Lex Luthor in there. Is it the best Lex Luthor pop? No, not in my opinion, but it does make sense to make one. And then we have the jumbo-sized Jurassic Park pop, and this is pretty cool. This makes sense to be a jumbo-sized pop. It's a dinosaur that we haven't seen yet. I like the addition of the leaves in the mouth, considering it is a herbivore, so that's really awesome. I would like to see this in person, too, to see actually how big it is.
All right, so now moving on to the next selection of Funko Pops, which range from June 12th to June 16th. So kicking off on June 12th, Fanatics had announced their own exclusive 5-pack of the Denver Nuggets from the NBA, which features Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Michael Porter Jr. And then on June 13th, Entertainment Earth had announced their own exclusive pop of Mary Jane Watson for the Marvel lineup, and then Fanatics announced their own exclusive pop of a Jack Eichel with Stanley Cup from the Vegas Golden Knights. Then on June 14th, Funko announced a lot of pops on this day. First off, we have ourselves another 2-pack for Star Wars The Clone Wars, which is of Count Dooku versus Anakin Skywalker, which is exclusive to GameStop. And then they announced a new wave of My Hero Academia pops, which features common pops of Momo Yaoyorozu, Izuku Midoriya with Black Whip, Denki Kaminari, Shoto Todoroki, Fallen Angel Tokoyami, Arburst Tenya Ida, and a Hitoshi Shinzo with an unmatched chase, along with exclusive pops of a glow-in-the-dark version of Tokoyami exclusive to AAA anime, a glow-in-the-dark Izuku Midoriya that's exclusive to previews, the glow-in-the-dark Tenya Ida, which is exclusive to Brad's Toys, and then a glow-in-the-dark Denki, which will be exclusive to Amazon, along with Himiko Toga, which will be exclusive to the Funko Shop, and then a glow-in-the-dark Todo Shodoroki, which will be exclusive to Volcano X. Then Funko announced a pop comic covers of Spock from Star Trek, along with a brand new set of WWE pops that feature Liv Morgan, King Booker, Roman Reigns with titles, British Bulldog, and Beth Phoenix with a chase. And then last but not least, on that day, Drop had confirmed the redeemable pops for the It Series 1 set, which features the Grail of 999 pieces being defeated Pennywise, the royalty being Freddy Funko as Meltdown Pennywise limited to 2,500 pieces, and then the legendaries being Henry Bowers, Leper, Lumberjack, and Patrick Hochstetter being limited to 1,800 pieces. Then on June 15th, Entertainment Earth had announced their own exclusive pop of a scented Pumpkin King Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Then on June 16th, the Funko Shop had announced their own exclusive pop alongside with Loungefly of a Diamond Collection Mirabelle Madrigal from Encanto that's a part of a pop and bag bundle limited to 4,000 pieces. And then Spirit Halloween had announced their own exclusive pop of a Bibbo with Shorty in Pizza Box Moments from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So kicking off with the Denver Nuggets 5-pack, which this is interesting because this was announced exactly the night that the Denver Nuggets won the NBA championship. And now this kind of makes me wonder, like, did they have two concepts planned to where if, let's say, even I believe they faced Miami Heat, which is my favorite NBA team, if they would have won the championship that night, would they have gotten the 5-pack? Or has it been what I've always said is that all sports are worked and not just WWE, and that they knew that the Denver Nuggets were going to win the NBA championship. So this is still interesting though, and especially it's limited to 5,000 pieces, I forgot to mention. So I do like this idea, and I guess I'll also mention about it with Jack Eichel in a little bit. Then we got Mary Jane Watson, and this is a pretty cool pop, especially because, as shown in the photo there, it actually does come with the speech bubble as turns to the pop. It's not just the pop itself. The speech bubble where it says face a tiger, you just hit the jackpot is actually a part of the Funko Pop. And if you see on the box, it's also shown on the box too. So when you actually take this pop out of box, it will have the speech bubble, which is pretty decent. It's never really been done with Funko Pops before. And then we go to the Jack Eichel with Stanley Cup pop, exclusive to Fanatics, announced the night that the Vegas Golden Knights won against the Florida Panthers for the Stanley Cup. And it was cool to see that the Stanley Cup finals was determined by two teams that have never won the Stanley Cup before, which is enjoyable to see. And I do like this display where obviously it is included with the Stanley Cup and not, let's say, with the Sidney Crosby or the Alex Ovechkin that MD has, that you had to get the chase version in order to get the Stanley Cup, which was kind of a dumb idea. But now you get this cool box here, limited to 5,000 pieces again, and it comes with the Stanley Cup. So I really like that idea. I kind of wish they did this in prior years, especially. They could have done that pretty much 2017 and 2016 with Pittsburgh, and MD could have gotten one in 2018 when the Washington Caps won the Stanley Cup. So I hope this is kind of a tradition going forward, because I do like the idea of making a limited piece count of one player, or multiple as terms to the NBA, as terms to the champions of a certain sport. Then we have ourselves the Clone Wars 2-pack, which obviously this makes sense because I've mentioned it before. This year is the, I believe, 15-year anniversary of Star Wars The Clone Wars, which we will be doing a fandom-related podcast on. And this is not too bad. I mean, we do have the Clone Wars version of Count Dooku, which looks pretty decent. We've only had Count Dooku from the live-action movies, of course, but nonetheless, this is still pretty decent. The new wave of My Hero Academia pops are pretty cool, especially because you don't have so many Dekus. You have one, and then the glow in the dark, but that's about it. But you get a showcase of characters that don't really have multiples or don't have pops at all, like Denki, which I remember a lot of people have been really wanting in pop form for a while. I do really enjoy the glow in the dark Shoto Todoroki. He is my favorite like hero in My Hero Academia, and the fact that the glow in the dark aspect for the ice and fire side looks absolutely sweet. And I'm actually happy to see a retailer like Brad's Toys, who I've actually bought in pops from before over in Las Vegas. Well, I never went to Las Vegas. I got them shipped, obviously, here to Canada. They get their own exclusive pop with a sticker of their logo, which I hope happens very soon with a retailer close to us like K-Dog and Fish. Then we have the Spock comic covers, and this isn't too bad. I mean, it's pretty interesting to see that. But then we have the new wave of WWE pops, which I actually do enjoy considering it is pops of characters, or not characters, but of wrestlers that pretty much have never had pops before, besides, of course, Roman Reigns, who have had multiples, but that's to be expected. I'm glad they made Booker T's first pop as King Booker. I think that's just absolutely amazing. Liv Morgan is not too bad. It is a little bit outdated because she hasn't been the SmackDown Women's Champion in over a year now. And then British Bulldog has been something that has been teased for a long time. And then Beth Phoenix is really cool to have her own Funko Pop, especially having the common version as old Beth Phoenix from the Ruthless Aggression era, and then like current Beth Phoenix as the Chase. However, I felt like it should have been the other way around, considering that I feel like the older version is more sought after than the newer version of Beth Phoenix, but nonetheless, pretty decent set of WWE pops. Then we got the It Funko NFT redeemables, and these are not too bad. They're pretty great as terms to detail. We did do a video recently on that drop, so definitely check that out. The Pumpkin King Jack Skellington. Now, when this was announced, I wasn't entirely sure what the scent could possibly be. Could it be like the scent of like a campfire, because like he's obviously on fire? But according to retailers like I believe Aussie Collectibles, it's going to be like a pumpkin spice scent, which should smell pretty decently if that's the case. I think regardless, I think the idea of making this scented instead of like glow in the dark is cool, especially because I believe they've already done a Pumpkin King Jack in the past that was glow in the dark. So to do a specification that actually makes sense for this character is really cool here. Then we got ourselves the Diamond Collection Mirabelle from Encanto, and this is all right. I mean, did it need to be Diamond Collection? Not really, but it is 4,000 pieces, and believe it or not, this actually has not sold out yet, considering even though it is 4,000 pieces. And then we have the pop moments here from Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and this looks pretty cool. I love this moments where I don't exactly know what's going on. I mean, I haven't seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but this is really cool. I mean, all the Killer Clowns pops are pretty decent, especially the blacklight ones, so this is no exception to that.
The Denver Nuggets 5-pack is really awesome. I love the idea of having a 5-pack of athletes after they have just won a championship, and I think it's an idea that Funko should definitely stick with. Limited piece count, too, is really cool. I don't think it necessarily has to be a limited piece count, but I do think that that's a good thing as well. Yeah, I think that this is perfect. I do think that probably they had one set for Miami Heat as well, but they didn't release it because they did not win. Then we have Mary Jane Watson in the comic book form, and this is awesome. I really like the speech bubble, and I love how in the speech bubble she is referring to Peter Parker as Tiger. That is awesome. That is something that she does a bunch. So this is wicked. Really enjoy the pop. And then we have Jack Eichel, and this is another one of those pops where he had just won the Stanley Cup. I do wish it was a 5-pack like you see with the Denver Nuggets. I also am not huge on the packaging for this pop. I think that there should be a window. Hopefully, like when you open it, it doesn't actually like break a seal. Like if it's those like connectors on like cardboard that you'd see where you kind of like tear it open. I hope that's not how this is, because that would kind of suck to have to kind of ruin the box just to see the pop inside. But I do like the idea of getting a Jack Eichel pop with the Stanley Cup. Then we have the Clone Wars 2-pack, and this is pretty cool. I really like how Dooku looks in the Clone Wars form. We have seen Anakin before, but that is also a really solid pop as well. And then we have a ton of My Hero Academia pops. Honestly, this is a really nice looking set. I mean, My Hero Academia has been getting a ton of pops, and honestly, I'm here for it because they look great. Then we have the Spock comic cover or movie cover, whatever this is. This is really cool. I like this. I think that Spock is positioned perfectly, just like he is on the comic cover. So that's really great. And then we have the newest wave of WWE pops, and this is a really solid wave. My favorite definitely has to be the King Booker. That's awesome. It looks so cool. I love the robe, the scepter, the crown. It all looks great. I do wish we would have seen it in a 2-pack with Queen Charmel, but that's okay. The Roman Reigns is pretty cool as well. I like the double belts. I do wish he would have had like the pointing finger, though. I think that that would have been a cool thing to see, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see that in the future. British Bulldog is awesome as well, and it is really cool to see a chase version for Beth Phoenix because she definitely does not look a ton like she did back in the day in WWE. And then we have the It NFT set, and these pops are super detailed. Besides that, there's not a whole lot going on here for me. And then we have the King Jack, which is scented, and yeah, that's exactly roasted pumpkin seeds. And then I thought, okay, maybe like cinnamon or nutmeg. So like pumpkin spice makes a lot of sense for me. I mean, cinnamon and nutmeg are both in that. So I guess I was kind of right on the money with that. I almost feel like getting this pop just to see exactly how good it smells. And then we have the Diamond Collection Mirabelle, and this is okay. I don't mind her in Diamond Collection. My one gripe, though, is that I don't really think that the earrings or the glasses really need to be Diamond Collection as well. It would have been all right with just being the dress in Diamond Collection, but Funko's known to kind of go overboard sometimes with putting the glitter on the Diamond Collection pops. And then we have the Bibbo with Shorty and Pizza Box. And this is a pretty crazy pop. Definitely a lot going on with it. I like the base. I like how you can kind of see the pop that's inside of whatever's going on there. I'm not exactly sure what's happening with the ray gun, but overall, this is really cool. The details there and the Killer Clowns pops are always great. So I'm not surprised that this one's awesome as well.
All right, so moving on to the last set of Funko Pops before we move on to the top 10 list, which ranges from June 20th to June 26th. So starting off on June 20th, Funko had announced a Funko Shop exclusive of Shinobu Kocho from Demon Slayer. Then It Sugar had announced their own exclusive pop of a Golden Sour Patch Kid, limited to 1,872 pieces. And then last but not least for that day, we have Entertainment Earth announcing their own exclusive pops from Naruto Shippuden of Madara, and then Nenji with a chase. Then on June 21st, Funko had announced a new facet pop for the Disney 100th lineup, in which it is of Spider-Man, of course, exclusive to the Funko shop, and then also announced a pop of Julio Rodriguez from the Seattle Mariners for the MLB lineup, which is also a Funko shop exclusive. Then Funko had announced a lot of pops for the Rocks lineup, which the list includes Aretha Franklin, Shakira, and then a pop albums for Shakira of Oral Fixation, Erika Badu, and then 3 versions of Snoop Dogg, 2 4-inch pops, one being a hooded version that will be exclusive to the Doghouse, limited to 1,500 pieces, and then a 10-inch version. Then on June 22nd, the Pokemon Center announced their own exclusive pop of a pearlescent Charmander for the Pokemon lineup. Then Funko announced on that day a new set of pops for Jujutsu Kaisen, which includes common pops of Mai Zenin, Shiguru Geto, Maki Zenin, Togi Inukami with Chase, a Yuji Itatori and Io Todo 2-pack, and then Panda, along with exclusive pops of a Flock Panda exclusive to Entertainment Earth, Kento Nanami, which will be exclusive to the Funko shop, and a glow-in-the-dark Yuji Itatori, which will be exclusive to AAA Anime. And then last but not least on that day, a new set of Digimon pops were announced, which we have Patamon and Gonamon. Then on June 23rd, Funko had announced a new set of Pop magazine covers for the NBA lineup, which includes players of Scotty Barnes, Damian Lillard, Luka Doncic, Stephen Curry, Derrick Rose, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Still can't pronounce that name correctly, but it is what it is. And then Entertainment Earth had announced their own exclusive pop of Gwen Stacy, and Hot Topic announced their own exclusive pop of a Tanjiro and Nezuko versus Temple Demon moments from Demon Slayer. June 24th, Barnes & Noble had announced their own exclusive pop of a flocked fancy Groot from I Am Groot. And then last but not least, June 26th, Funko Shop had announced an exclusive pop of Vash and Corneco from Trigun, which will be a Crunchyroll exclusive. And then Funko had announced Blacklight Target exclusive pops from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which features two 2-packs, one of them being Spider-Gwen and Spider-Woman, and then a 2-pack of Spider-Man India and Spider-Man 2099, along with a 10-inch Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and then a Spot, which will be a part of a Pop and Tea bundle. All right, so first off, we have the Demon Slayer pop, and this is not too bad of a pop, pretty detailed, and I really like the vibrant colors, including purple. Then we got ourselves the Golden Sour Patch Kid, and why the hell was this made? I don't think there's ever been a Golden Sour Patch Kid. At least that's what I think. I mean, when you think of like yellow as turns to a color of Sour Patch Kid, it's probably lemon, which they've already done in the first wave of Sour Patch Kid pop. I mean, I get it. It is limited piece, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's not going to be worth as much as the Lime Sour Patch Kid, which is actually a flavor of Sour Patch Kid. Then we got ourselves the Naruto Shippuden pops, which these are pretty decent, and I do like the Madara, but I mean, there isn't really much of a difference between the Neji as terms of the common and the chase, except removing the headband. Then we got the Facet Spider-Man, and this actually looks pretty decent in that specification. I'm really liking the, I guess, crystallization, I'm going to call it, with this, and it just looks so nice. The blue and the red pop out really well, and especially keeping the eyes the same and not really making that kind of crystallized, but nonetheless, it looks really cool. Definitely one of the best Facet pops that Funko has done. Then we got Julio Rodriguez for the MLB lineup, and this is an all right pop. Then we have all the pops for the Pop Rocks lineup, which first off, we have ourselves Aretha Franklin. This is pretty cool to finally have a pop of her. Then Shakira, a lot of people were really hyped about, especially the pop albums, which is kind of the first thing I feel like a lot of people do think of when they think of Shakira and that specific, I believe, music video for that album. Then we got ourselves, I don't know who the heck Erykah Badu is. I know a lot of people are hyped about that, but I certainly have never heard of her before. And then the Snoop Dogg pops are not entirely bad. 10-inch one, was it necessary? Not really. And speaking of not necessary pops, is the Pearlescent Charmander that is not the shiny we were looking for. So why continue making these? But it's to be expected that we're probably going to get like Mew and whatever really matches the types as shown on the website down the line. The new set of Jujutsu Kaisen pops are pretty sweet also. They're very detailed. I don't really have a favorite, but I mean, I do like the Flock Panda. I think that's pretty cool. And then we have Digimon pops, which is absolutely amazing. I don't remember the last time we had Digimon pops. I feel like when we first started collecting between 2015, 2016 with that initial like 3-pop wave, to see the return of Digimon pops is really cool. And hopefully maybe down the line we'll get Comic-Con exclusives. Then we have the Slam Pop magazine covers, and these are all right. I mean, they do have cool poses. It's a little bit different from the NBA pops, but nonetheless, you are paying a lot for just an oversized box, I guess, but it's still all right. Gwen Stacy, that's pretty cool. I mean, we had the Mary Jane Watson pop. It makes sense for Gwen Stacy since she is pretty much the Mary Jane Watson of a different Spider-Man universe, so that's pretty cool. The Nezuko moments, that's pretty cool, where you basically have, I guess I'm going to say in wrestling terms, a 2-on-1 handicap match. It looks pretty decent, and I'm not sure how well this sold, but this is still pretty cool. Then we have the Flocked Fancy Groot, and I don't really see the point of this. I mean, it makes sense because of like, you know, it being a tree, but these pops, I know for a fact have probably not been selling well because no one really cared about the I Am Groot series, especially because it's been out for almost 2 years now. Who cares about it at this point? Then we have the Trigun pop, which is not too bad. It's just an already existing character, I believe, but it's a pop and buddy this time. And then we have the Blacklight Spider-Man Funko Pops, and these are pretty sweet. I'm liking the colorways for the majority of them, especially the Spider-Man India. It looks awesome with the purple hair and the main color being orange. And then Spider-Man 2099 kind of staying to the true colors of himself, except with Blacklight, where it's like a lighter blue instead of a darker blue, and then you have like the magenta instead of the red. So I feel like if you put the Blacklight to it, it might look exactly like what you normally see with Spider-Man 2099. $14.99. So I think that's pretty decent. And then I do enjoy the look of the spot as terms to this pop and T bundle, just seeing the blue and the yellow. I think that will pop off really nicely, especially because normally when you take a black light to yellow, the color turns to green. So I think that's pretty sweet. I would rather have this spot than the other one.
This Demon Slayer pop is pretty cool. I like the detail with the base, and I mean, it's a purple pop. I always love seeing purple. Then we have the gold Sour Patch Kid, and yeah, this is ridiculous. I don't think this is necessary. I hate when Funko makes these random gold pops that are super limited pieces. 1,872 pieces. Where did they get that number? It just seems like such an odd number. Maybe there is a reason for it, but I don't understand it. Then we have the Naruto Shippuden pops, and both of these look pretty good. That chase isn't the greatest. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on with the difference with the missing headband, but maybe there is a significance with the markings on the head. Then we have the Facet Spider-Man, and this is awesome. I love Spider-Man pops, and I've kind of enjoyed the Facet pop, so now this is definitely a pop that I will be buying to add a Facet pop to my collection, and I mean, it looks great. Then we have Julio Rodriguez, and this makes sense to be a Funko Shop exclusive with the Seattle Mariners and all. And then we move on to the Pop Rocks, and there's some pretty cool pops here. Aretha Franklin, that's really cool. The Shakira is cool. I really like the Shakira oral fixation cover. I'll probably be buying that. The Snoop Dogs are pretty good as well. I do like the jumbo-sized one, but I don't think that pop needed to be jumbo-sized. I also really like the hooded variation as well. Then we have the Pearlescent Charmander, and this is ridiculous. Don't even want to talk about it. Next, we have the Jujutsu Kaisen pops, and these are okay. There doesn't seem like there's anything super crazy going on with any of these pops, really, but they're not bad. I do really like the Flocked Panda. I think that that's a great one. And then finally, we have new Digimon pops, and I think that Patamon and Gomamon, these are perfect pops to pick for Digimon. I do hope that we continue to see more Digimon pops down the line, because I'd probably be very interested in actually collecting the Digimon pops. Then we have the new NBA Slam covers, and I think that these are pretty good. There's definitely ones that are better than others, like the Steph Curry as well as the Scotty Barnes. I really enjoy those ones. But yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy the NBA Slam covers. Then we have Gwen Stacy, and there's not a whole lot going on with this pop, but it definitely does look just like Gwen Stacy. And then next we have the Demon Slayer moments with Tanjiro and Nezuko versus the Temple Demon. This is pretty cool. I do think that there is kind of a lot going on with it, especially when you see it in the box. Out of box, I feel like it would look a lot better, but it kind of seems like they're all kind of just a little too close together, if you get what I mean by that. And then we have the Flocked Fancy Groot, and I'm really hating these I Am Groot pops. Like I've said previously, it is kind of becoming like Deadpool was to me, where there was just so many random Deadpool pops being produced, and it really does seem that way with Groot now. And then we have the Vash pop for Trigun. This is okay. I like the addition of having a pop and buddy, and I don't own a Crunchyroll exclusive, but I don't think this will be one that ends up being in my collection. And then lastly, we have the Spider-Man around the Spider-Verse pops, and these are pretty cool. I love me some Blacklight pops. I love me Spider-Man pops. So these are great. I do feel like that Spider-Man 2099 one will look really cool under a Blacklight. I would like to see a lot of these under the Blacklight, but I do think that the spot is probably my favorite out of this. I really enjoyed the t-shirt that it comes with, and the yellow with the blue is such an interesting combo of colors for Blacklight pops, especially when it is just a character that is purely black and white.
All right, so now we're going to finally move on to the top 10 Funko Pops of June 2023, of course, as we were recording this, which is June 27th. We're not officially over and done with June. Maybe if there's a lot of cool pops within the next few days leading up to the end of June, we could do the update. We never know, because we've brought it a couple times already. But nonetheless, normally how we do this, we start off right at number 10 and go back and forth, leading up to what we feel is the number one Funko Pop of the month. So of course, like usual, I will begin this. Starting off at number 10 on my list is the Fanatics exclusive Jack Eichel with Stanley Cup. I do enjoy that they're kind of going down this route with the NHL lineup now. It makes it a little bit more refreshing, especially hopefully this becomes a tradition every year where maybe the next Stanley Cup champions will have their own player with a Stanley Cup.
Coming in at number 10 on my list is the Fanatics exclusive Denver Nuggets 5-pack. And it's basically for the same reason that DK had the Jack Eichel, which is because it's just a really good idea. I love that if a team wins a championship, they can get a 5-pack like this. I think that that makes so much sense for the fans. The limited piece count is a little bit weird. I don't think it has to be limited, but it makes it a little bit more sought after.
Coming in at number 9 on my list is the Randy Butternubs from the Adventure Time Funko NFT set, limited to 1,600 pieces. This is a pretty cool version of Jake the Dog. I'm not really entirely the biggest fan of Adventure Time, which is why it's a little bit low on the list, but nonetheless, it should be on the top 10.
Coming in at number 9 on my list, I have Gamamon. This is awesome. So happy to see Digimon Pops back. And I think that they picked two great digital monsters to have for this set. Though the wave is a little small with just two pops, I think it's super nostalgic and it's awesome to see.
Coming in at number 8 on my list is the Amazon exclusive Woody on Luxo Ball Pop Trains. Now, a little bit surprising that I'm putting a Toy Story pop this low on the list, but at the same time, it's like a Toy Story pop that didn't really need to be made, especially for a set where I feel I need to get the whole set as terms of the train. But now it's like, here's Woody, here's the Luxo Ball. So maybe I'll get it just for the sake of the Luxo Ball having the pop, but nonetheless, it's all right, but not good enough to make even the top 5 portion of my list.
Coming in at number 8 on my list is the Amazon exclusive Woody on Luxo Ball. And pretty much the exact same reason why DK had just explained. It is cool. I love Woody, my favorite Toy Story character, probably my favorite Disney character of all time. But yeah, there's just not enough going on with this. I think it could have been a lot better.
Coming in at number 7 on my list is the Funko Shop exclusive Facet Spider-Man. I think this is a pretty decent idea, and it looks pretty cool compared to a lot of the different Facet Pops that Funko has done thus far. I'm excited to see what they do next, but so far, this is one of the best Facet Pops.
Coming in at number 7 on my list, I have the GameStop exclusive Count Dooku and Anakin Skywalker 2-pack. This is a really cool 2-pack. Funko always kills it with the Clone Wars pops, and they make them look more of like that Clone Wars animation style. I think the Count Dooku looks awesome. Of course, we have seen Anakin pops in the Clone Wars stylization before, but I do think that this one is pretty great as well, and having him in a 2-pack just makes so much sense.
Coming in at number 6 on my list is the Volcano X exclusive glow-in-the-dark Shoto Todoroki. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I put this pop. First off, I mentioned earlier about Todoroki being one of my favorite characters in My Hero Academia. I think the, stylization of what I assume is newer season My Hero Academia looks pretty cool. The glow-in-the-dark aspect looks nice for both the fire and the ice. And just for the sake of who knows when the next time I'm going to be mentioning a Volcano X exclusive pop on this list, which in case anyone is wondering, Volcano X is actually the new name of what was the Box Warehouse exclusive. So you will be able to get this through like Amazon.
Coming in at number 6 on my list, I have the NBA Slam cover of Scotty Barnes. It's just a little more different than the other ones that we've seen in the past. I mean, he's got sunglasses on, really cool. He's holding the chain up, and let's be real, it's Scotty Barnes, so can't go wrong with that.
Coming in at number 5 on my list is the Entertainment Earth exclusive Scented Pumpkin King Jack from Nightmare Before Christmas. Really cool idea to make this pop scented, even though one retailer has said that it's pumpkin spice. That doesn't really officially confirm whether that's actually what it is, considering that not a lot of other retailers are mentioning what the possible scent is. So it's still kind of a mystery, but still a decent idea.
Coming in at number 5 on my list, I have Patamon. This is awesome. Super excited about this. This is one of my favorite Digimon characters. So it's really cool. And I think that it translated into pop form very, very well. Definitely a pop I'm going to have to try to pick up.
Coming in at number 4 on my list is the Box Lunch exclusive glow-in-the-dark Nezuko in Web Pop Deluxe from Demon Slayer. This is a cool looking pop. I love the whole detail without it being glow-in-the-dark, but to make that glow-in-the-dark aspect work is pretty decent, and it's a cool, refreshing Demon Slayer pop for the set.
Coming in at number 4 on my list, I have the Funko NFT Randy Butternubs. This is hilarious. I love the detail on it. I love the way that they made this look. And I think that we definitely needed a Randy Butternubs pop for the Adventure Time set. Am I surprised that it was part of an NFT set? No, not really. Am I pissed off about it? No, not really either.
Coming in at number 3 on my list, the leopard NFT pop from It. This is a very detailed pop. I mentioned this, I believe, on both the NFT podcast last week and the NFT drop video last week, that the detail is so awesome with like the drool coming down the mouth, and then you have like a missing eye, and just like it's just so detailed.
Coming in at number 3 on my list, I have the Box Lunch exclusive Glow in the Dark Nezuko in Web. This is just a crazy looking pop. I mean, the detail on this is awesome. This is another one of those pops that we sometimes mention where if we would have saw this back in like 2015, we would have just crap bricks because of the detail and how crazy this is compared to pops that we were seeing back then. So it just really shows you how far Funko's come along when it comes to the sculpt of their pops.
Coming in at number 2 on my list is Patamon from Digimon. This is so awesome to see more Digimon pops. I feel like it's such an underrated series to watch. And I mean, this is going to be a little bit of a hot take, but I prefer Digimon over Pokemon. Yeah, for me, I was always more of a Digimon fan. So to see more Digimon pops is really cool. And like I mentioned earlier, I hope we see Comic-Con exclusive Digimon pops down the line, especially some really cool Digimons that I can't remember the name of, but I remember there were some really cool looking ones.
Coming in at number 2 on my list, I have the Funko Shop exclusive Facet Spider-Man. This is awesome. I really enjoy the Facet pops, and I love collecting Spider-Man pops, so this just makes a lot of sense to be a huge candidate for a pop that needs to be in my collection.
And now coming in at number 1, and I don't know why, but I feel like we both have the same number 1. All I have to say about this is, all hail King Booker! King Booker is my number 1 pop for this month because of the detail that's involved with King Booker and how surprising it was to see Booker T made as King Booker before either like regular Booker T or even Harlem Heat Booker T. It was really cool to see the scepter, the robe, the crown. It's so awesome to see this.
Coming in at number 1 on my list is, of course, the Golden Sour Patch Kid. I mean, limited to 1,872 pieces. This is a grail that you need to get your hands on, but it does look a lot like Booker T's crown when he is King Booker. Of course, King Booker is my number 1. What a great pop. It is unfortunate that I kind of have decided to stop collecting WWE pops because I kind of really want this pop. It looks awesome. I think the only thing that could make this better is that if his robe was flocked, that would be just unreal. And of course, like I said earlier, if it was a 2-pack with Queen Charmel, but I could look past that because this pop is wicked.
Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of this edition of a Funko Popcast. If you enjoyed this edition, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your favorite pops from this past month, and we hope to see you guys on a future edition of a Funko Popcast. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
Can you dig it, sucker? Peace in, peace out.